Hello my fellow riders, this is Chris at Riding Reviews, and today we're going to be talking about the Regal Raptor 125cc motorbike. Now as you can see, we're standing next to the Regal Raptor 125cc motorbike. Now the model number of this is DD125E 125 Mark 1. Now this video isn't really to do with this bike. This video is to show you what a bike can be like if it was looked after 14 years on from manufacture. Now this bike has done 7,569 miles and it is 14 years old. It is a twin, a straight twin single overhead cam engine. Comes out at 11 horsepower and it has 5-speed. Now on here we're going to go through a couple of things. There is a little bit of degradation, there is a little bit of age related damage, and there is a little bit of neglect, but this bike actually rides pretty nice. So on the swing arm you've got a little bit of rust around the forks, a little bit of corrosion on the forks as well down here, but other than that, that's pretty much it. When this bike came in we had to change the carburetor on it because the other one was so blocked up that it didn't work anymore, but other than that, that is all we have had to do. Now if you think this bike has been around for 14 years, that's pretty amazing. The quality of it is really nice, and surprisingly there is a lot of chrome on this bike, and other than a little bit of rust, the whole bike looks quite nice. You can tell by the switch gear and stuff like that that it's been left outside because the switch gear is starting to go a little bit of a grey colour. There are some scratches on it. The levers are still intact, which is quite surprising. The tyres are good, but obviously I don't know the history of those tyres. I don't know if they're brand new, I don't know if they're seconds or whatnot. It has a H4 3535 front bulb, LED standard bulb indicators and a standard bulb rear light. This is a very comfortable cruiser bike. Suspension is still good. There is a lot of suspension in the front and it's not too soft, but it doesn't bog out either. The brakes are still suitable for what they're supposed to be. And other than it's got a cracked mirror, other than that sort of thing, the bike is still perfectly road legal. It has an MOT. It has service history and all that sort of stuff. But as I say, this bike, this video wasn't for this bike. This video was to show you that even a 14-year-old Chinese motorbike can still be in fairly good condition as long as it is serviced correctly. So on this, I would imagine for the years, if this had one service a year, I'd be fairly surprised. I reckon it's probably had one service every 2 years because of the mileage, maybe even less than that. So in the video you'll see me going around the block and you'll see that it still gets up to 60 miles an hour. It's got quite a nice sound. There is a little bit of a rattling from the plastics and stuff like that, but as I say, it is 14 years old, it's got an MOT, it works perfectly fine. Everything works on this bike. What more can you ask for, really? This bike brand new was £1,399, and this is the first edition of this bike. It comes in Mark 1, 2, 3 and 4. The Mark 1 was the only one that come with the rear drums. The Mark 2, 3 and 4 all came with discs. So watch my video of me going around the block. So when this bike was first released, it was £2,399. I realised that at the beginning of this video I did say it was £1,399, but it was a mistake. But yeah, so it was a £2,399 bike 14 years ago. For a Chinese motorcycle, that was a lot of money. Usually back then they were going for somewhere in the region of about £1,000 to £1,200. If we were trying to sell them at that price back there at Cheap Bikes for us, they just wouldn't have sold. So somebody obviously bought this 14 years ago, but I know that it's something that we wouldn't be able to sell. I don't even think that now we would be able to sell it at that sort of price, brand new. So riding it around the block, the suspension is a tiny bit spongy, but that's to be expected. At some point those forks will have to be changed because they are starting to get pitted. But as I said before, what can you really expect from a 14-year-old bike? Now if you're looking to buy one of these second hand, for this one I would imagine it's going to be something like £700. I would have thought that we're going to sell this as spares and repairs only, just because for a 14-year-old bike we don't really want to be giving a warranty on it. That's going to be a big old can of worms. So I wouldn't recommend buying a 14-year-old Chinese motorcycle. Quite often even the Japanese bikes aren't, especially the small capacity bikes, aren't really suitable after this period of time either. But the whole point of this video isn't to say go out and buy this bike. The whole point of this video is to show you that after 14 years with a Chinese motorbike, they can last. Now I know this has got quite low mileages on, and I have said quite often before that with Chinese motorcycles, if you service them really regularly, if you're going say somewhere in the region of 1,000 to 2,000 miles a month, I would service them every month. Now if you do this, keep them in a dry location like a garage. I know this isn't always feasible, but if you keep them in a dry location like a garage, that would be much better for the bike. Now you can get some other stuff to help protect the bike as well, like ACF 50. Now what I would specify, if you are going to use the ACF 50, do not spray it on the brakes. What this does is it seeps into the brake pad, and you can't actually get rid of it out of the brake pad. You can't skim it, you can't clean it off. You will have to replace the brake pad. It just makes the brakes not really usable. Now I don't want to go on and on and on about this 14-year-old bike. Yes, it is a really nice condition bike. Will most of the Chinese bikes make it 14 years? I probably doubt it. Will any small capacity bike make it 14 years? The chances of a 14-year-old Japanese bike is more feasible. Chinese bikes will make it, and they are increasingly getting better, but 10 years ago Chinese bikes weren't like they are today, and that's probably where the Chinese reputation has come from. So thank you for watching my video on the Regal Raptor 125cc, it's not Euro 4 motorbike, 14-year-old motorbike. Now, as I said, this video was just to show you what a well-kept 14-year-old motorbike can look like. Obviously, there is a couple of issues with it, but what can you expect for a 14-year-old bike? So comment below if you've liked my video, hit that thumbs up, thumbs down, subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell to stay updated to all my latest content. Remember, if you've got any questions, go to my website, become a member and ask on the forum, and your question will be answered to the best of my ability. But as always, ride safe.